Hey, what's up YouTube? Little Bucket here, coming at you from Seattle, Washington. And as promised, here is part 2 of my response to Modwain Allaron. For those of you who weren't with us for the first episode, here is a little recap. And a card. So, this is part number 1. You keep on comparing me giving definitions about feminism to the difference between democracy and the Democratic Republic of North Korea. Now, I don't really get what that has to do with anything because it's not like I'm reading definitions of feminism and talking about how great the feministic Republic of North Korea is, if that was a thing. A large part of feminism is fighting for the rights and interests of women and stopping the oppression that we still face in society today. Weird that feminism would be about the interests and wants of women. But you know what we want and the point of feminism? We want to be treated equally. Weird that that's what feminism is about, and that's literally all I've been saying in my video. Just because its focus is on women's rights and interests, that doesn't mean we're out to get men. That doesn't mean we hate men. That doesn't mean that we're against things that help men. Feminism has helped men in multiple different ways as well, which we'll get into in part 2. If the recap wasn't good enough for you and you want to watch the whole video, a card will show up here somewhere and you can click on that and it will take you to the first part. But let's get right into the second part, and we are talking about how feminism can help men too. Okay, so you, Modwain, said that feminism doesn't care about men inequalities or men's struggles. They just care about women, and if something bad's happening to men, screw men, whatever. And like, that's not true at all. We aren't out to get men, we don't hate men, and we are down to fight for men's rights too. There are gender inequalities in the United States that do negatively impact men. And it's not right and it's not fair. Feminists want to get rid of those too. Some of the main gender inequalities that negatively affect men that first come to my mind are custody hearings, having to suppress their emotions, and paternity leave in the United States. So feminists acknowledge these issues and we want to help fix them as well. In fact, a lot of gender inequalities that have negatively affected men have been changed due to the actions of feminists. So first we'll talk about the unfairness in custody hearings for men in the United States. Again, I don't know how it is in other countries. I live in the United States, so all my examples are about the United States. And so for custody hearings, men are at a disadvantage because of society's bias about gender roles and how mothers are just more naturally the fit parent to take care of kids. Fathers are like the secondary parent, like all that stuff, which is bullshit. Feminists don't like that. Feminism wants to scrap all gender roles, ones that negatively impact women and ones that negatively impact men. It doesn't matter. All gender roles that are forcing people into these tiny boxes of like, oh, you're a woman, you should and need to want to be into this stuff. Oh, you're a man, these are your roles in life. Like, people don't want to be confined to that. So it helps men and it helps women. It's not feminists' fault that these custody hearings end up going to women more likely, that society and their messed up gender roles, which negatively affect men and women. Also, speaking of gender roles, this takes us to men having to feel like they need to suppress their emotions because they need to be manly and strong, and like, if you're a man, you can't show any emotion unless it's anger. Society puts pressure on men to just bottle up their emotions, be a strong man, men don't cry, and all this stuff. Not only is that psychologically and emotionally unhealthy, but that's physically unhealthy for you too. It leads to heart attacks. That's probably why more men suffer from heart disease and heart attacks and stuff, because they're stressing out about all their bottled up emotions. And again, feminists don't want that either. And so, like, helping get rid of these like stereotypes and gender roles that are placed on men will help them live a happier and healthier life. Right now, the United States is one of the only 3 countries that don't mandate a paid paternity or maternity leave for parents once they have a new baby. It's super important for both mothers and fathers to be able to bond with their baby right after it's born. But since the United States doesn't offer pay leave, this negatively affects both men and women. So the United States doesn't offer paid maternity leave, and their options for paternity leave are also low, even lower than maternity leave. So if you can't afford to take an unpaid leave off, then you just don't get extra time with your babies, especially for fathers, because there might not even be an unpaid paternity leave. And feminists are definitely all about changing that for both men and women, because obviously we want our families to be able to bond with their baby and create long-lasting, healthy relationships with their baby. So mothers and fathers both deserve paid maternity or paternity leave so they can spend time with their baby. And feminists are fighting for both of those, and that helps men too. And if that didn't convince you, then we can open up our history books and take a look at times throughout history where feminists fought for specific things that were to help men. Why would they do that now if they hated men and didn't care about inequalities that men have? I don't really know. In 1976, the US Supreme Court ruled that it was unconstitutional to treat men and women differently under law because of a law in Oklahoma where the drinking age was 21 for men and only 18 for women. And why was that law that way, you say? Probably because of society's stupid biased gender rules again, that women mature faster than men and men are in this infinite world of childhood and they never grow up, whatever society says. So obviously if women are more mature than men, then they can drink alcohol at 18, but men can't drink alcohol till they're 21. So thanks to feminist activists, that law was passed and the drinking age for men and women became the same. This one's a little more recent. In 2011, the Feminist Majority Foundation petitioned to change the definition of rape so that it included male victims and not only female victims. The definition had not been changed since 1921, so they petitioned to change a very old definition that hadn't been changed in a very long time, just so men could be classified as rape victims. They did it all for men, and it was, again, the Feminist Majority Foundation that petitioned for and had that definition changed. So even though you keep on saying that feminists don't care about men, it's literally thanks to feminists that the definition of rape was changed to include men. So if that's not thinking about men's interests and helping men out, I don't really know what is. So think about these examples the next time that you want to say that feminists only care about women and their issues and want to make things harder for men or don't care about men's issues. So once again, I am talking about the United States. You say in your video that in the UK, women can't be charged with rape. I don't live in the UK, so I don't really know anything about that. But yeah, that's super messed up and it should definitely be changed. I'm definitely thankful that the United States changed the definition of rape in 2011 to include men, and I hope that the UK soon steps up to the plate and changes that for men too, because men can definitely get raped and women can definitely be the rapists, and feminists see that. Hi, I'm a feminist and I'm telling you, and I know lots of other feminists that say the same thing. He also mentioned how there's a lack of domestic violence shelters for men, and that's totally true. One reason why that might be so is because there is a lot more victims who are women, and also due to society gender rules, there's a lot more women that don't have any money outside of their marriage or relationship, and if they were to leave their household because of domestic violence, they would often have no money or no place to go. Usually that's not the case with men, but I do agree that there should definitely be more shelters to help men, and there should definitely be more resources to help men with domestic and sexual abuse. Although there are more women who are victims to this abuse, there's still many men out there and they deserve good access to help as well. Feminists didn't do this to men though, and we're not fighting against it, we're fighting to help. We don't want men to feel that they have no access to help for when they are the victims of domestic and sexual abuse. They deserve shelters and resources as well. Feminists didn't do this to men, and we're not trying to stop it from happening. We totally support all forms of help for all victims of sexual and domestic abuse. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm just saying that that's not the case, but you just say I don't know anything about feminism. even though I'm a feminist, and I know lots of other feminists, and that this isn't really feminism. But okay. And again, there's more examples, but this video is already, long, and I figured I don't need to go through every single example because there's this thing called Google out there. So I just figured I'd touch on a few of the ways that feminists have helped men now and throughout history, and how we're not against men or man haters or anything or wanting to take power away from men. Equality, that's what we want. So thanks for watching part 2. Part 3 is gonna wrap it all up, and that'll be in my next video coming up in a couple days. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video and agree with me, or you just thought my opinion was interesting, give that video a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe and share to your friends. Leave me a comment down below about why you're a feminist, or about how feminism helps you if you're a man or a woman, because as we learned in this video, feminism helps everybody. So also, all up in here you'll see my social media, so follow me to keep up with me while I'm away from the camera making videos. Once again, thanks for watching. Until next time.